Hey girls. This video is going to be one of a kind. I am recording this for my monthly membership girls. I failed to hit record yesterday during our group, and normally I post those for you to go back to later if you weren't able to make it, and I appreciate you girls for being gracious. I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do this for you because you're not necessarily going to get the same group dynamic. And I thought this might be a really great opportunity to record something for you that you can actually save and come back to whenever you want to tap on topics that we've been tapping on lately related to disappointment, fear, grief, sadness. And I'm not going to go too heavy on the joy and the appreciation because what happens naturally when we work on addressing these really hard feelings is just like a muddy cup. You can't just pour clear, clean water into a muddy cup and expect all of the water in the cup to be clear and beautiful. You really have to dump that mud out, and that's what we're doing when we're tapping. But if you just dump the mud out, the glass is still going to be lined with some mud and some yuck. And so you might have to rinse it out with some water and pour it out again. You might still have some flakes and debris. And if you're going to drink from this cup, you might also want to use some soap. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to tap on some of the muck, some of the yuck, some of the dirt. It's there whether we like it or not. And I taught some of the girls a new technique yesterday that I do want to fold in here for you. And you can think of it as the adding soap phase. It's kind of a heavy hitter, and it's going to be a little bit hard for some of you, and that's okay. Just do your best. I don't want you to hurt yourself at all by straining yourself, trying to get it right. None of this is about getting it right or perfect. It's really just about tapping, feeling the feelings that come up, not pushing them away, not shoving them down, but really just being present with them and mindful of them until you watch them change. Even if the feeling stays the same, like grief or sadness, the feeling inside your body might change. For example, if you have to get up in front of a really large crowd and speak, your cheeks might turn red, your hands might start to shake, your heart might race, your stomach might hurt. Those are all physical, visceral responses to an emotion. And that's what tapping is really for when it comes to the work we're doing together, is to say, gosh, something is so scary. I'm so afraid of this. I'm so disappointed in this. And our heart hurts and our heart's heavy. Our hands shake. Our breathing is tight. But you know what? Things can be hard and sad, and our body can actually be relaxed while we're feeling those feelings. If that's hard to believe, then just stick to the work, because I am proof that this is possible. So what I want to do differently here is I'm going to have you get familiar with your pause option on the video. The reason for that is because when I'm sitting one-on-one with somebody, I'm really involved with listening to the aspects and the details of whatever they may or may not be sharing with me. Even if someone doesn't share with me something that they're thinking, I can oftentimes notice if they start crying, right? Or if they kind of stiffen up in their chair a little bit. Well, I'm not really interacting with a live person right now. I can only imagine what's going on your end. But here's the thing, if I'm on an emotion like anger, one of you might say, yeah, nope, not angry right now. And so I don't want you to have to listen to me tap on anger for 20 minutes. And another one of you might need 30 minutes to really dig into that anger. So what's going to be cool here is I'm going to let you know what emotion we're working on, and I'm going to let you know the next emotion that we're moving to. That way, when I'm tapping you through your rounds, if I'm ready to move on, which I will be quickly here because of the way that I'm doing this video, when you're on an emotion that I'm on, I want you to tap on it, and when I'm ready to move forward, if you're not ready to move forward yet, I want you to simply hit the pause button. That's it. Just hit the pause button, pause me, and then I want you to keep your eyes closed or open, whatever's comfortable, and go ahead and keep tapping the points. By the time you want to pause, you are going to know the different tapping points and kind of the rhythm. But here's the thing, women tend to be a little bit of perfectionists, and you're gonna want to make sure you get every point. You're gonna want to make sure you tap it the right amount of times. I'm here to tell you that this is not where we have to get it perfect. Go ahead and just tap the point that you're on, tap the next point that you remember, tap them as many times as you want to. If you skip a point, if you stay on a point for a really long time, it's okay. All that matters here is that you're feeling a feeling or addressing a problem. Tapping is important because it's sending a calming signal to your fight or flight. Because whenever we think about a problem or something hard, our subconscious doesn't actually know if that thing's happening all over again or if we're just remembering it. And so that's why sometimes talk therapy can be frustrating, or going to lunch with friends, coffee with friends, complaining, venting leaves you feeling worse than when you started. And that's because really subconsciously, our brain just wants to keep us alive, not emotionally stable. And so it's rewiring the upset or the trauma and trying to get you to run or hide from it instead of unwiring it. And so with the tapping, we're sending a calming signal. The words that we're using are so important. The acceptance piece is so important because it's silencing that fight or flight response, so that when you think about this feeling or this problem, the normal, whether you know it or not, the normal run, hide, fight, flee, drink, eat, scroll social media is turned off. With that turned off, your body can actually calm, your cortisol levels drop, okay? And when your cortisol levels drop, your immunity is stronger and the blood goes back into your brain so that you can think clearly. This is why when we get really angry or really anxious or really upset, sometimes we lash out and we end up kind of embarrassed because we acted like a child. It's going to be hard to think like an adult without the blood in your brain, okay? Also, a lot of the things we're working on are very old. They go way back into our childhood, some things that we don't even remember. So actually, we are kind of reverting to childhood when we feel these feelings. But once we process them and sort them through, we might change that behavior naturally, effortlessly, because we are going back to the original source of that feeling, okay? So go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose. Blow it out through your mouth. Go ahead and take a sip of water. If you haven't had any water yet, water is really important for processing things emotionally. You can even get up and go grab that. You can pause me while you do it. Another thing too is you might want a notepad. I have a notepad here and a pen. I have a really cozy blanket because I get cold when I tap. Some of my girls get warm when they tap. I get cold. So it doesn't matter if the heater's on. I just get really cold, and so I'm just here super cozy with you. The first emotion that we're going to dive in on is disappointment. This word is inspired by a book that a couple of us are reading together by Lisa Turkhurst. It's Not Supposed to Be This Way. And it has just been a really important theme here and so personal for so many of us, because 2020 was just like one big disappointment after the other, right? And so we're going to go ahead and start on disappointment, okay? So I want you to think about disappointments, think about life's disappointments. It can be something with work, it can be something with your partner, it can be something with your children. But if you just close your eyes just for a second, take another deep breath in through your nose, blow it out through your mouth. I want you to just think about the word disappointed. The first thing that comes to mind might be the most important. Okay, so go ahead if you want to and just jot that down. One reason I want you to jot things down is because if you and I do ever work privately together, these notes are going to be so fun to go back on. Think of it as doing a puzzle. Your tapping journey is like putting the puzzle of your life together. But not only are you putting the puzzle of your past together, in the present, you get to see it fully made and fully beautiful. And it is going to be your tips, your cues, your encouragement, and your proof for your future. So while we're going back in time and while we're here tapping, if we're working on that puzzle and a memory pops up, something somebody says, something somebody did, something somebody said, those are all puzzle pieces. So as those memories start popping up, if you were doing a puzzle, you wouldn't grab that piece and then throw it aside. You would actually grab that piece, look for where it might go, or set it aside until you have a cue. So, or a clue, sorry. So I really want you to hold on to these pieces, even if, and especially if they seem weird, confusing, if they seem to not make any sense, or even if you think you made it up. Everything's important here when we're silencing your fight or flight, okay? So go ahead, take another deep breath in through your nose. Blow it out through your mouth. And just in case I have some skeptics, because this video is going to be used for girls who haven't tapped yet before, who might be considering working with me, I do want to have you check in with one thing when we start, and you're going to come back to it at the very end and check back in with it. You might even check throughout the time that we're tapping together. What I want you to do is I want you to imagine, I don't want you to do it, I want you to imagine what it would feel like to take a really deep inhale breath and fill your lungs up all the way as full as they could go. Just imagine it. Imagine what that would feel like to take a deep breath and fill your lungs up to full capacity. Then when you're ready, I want you to actually do it. Okay? You can pause me for this part because it might take you a couple tries to get a really nice deep inhale. Go ahead and pause me if you need to. So once you've taken your really big, deep inhale, I want you to actually check back on how full you thought full would feel, and then how full you really got your lungs. Because you might think 100% feels like this, and then when you breathed in all the way, 100% actually felt like 70%. 70% full. I only got my lungs 70% full, or 60%, or even 30%. I really want you to compare there how full you thought it would feel versus how full you really got your lungs. That's another number I want you to write down, because you're going to come back to this as you're tapping. You might decide to pause the button, take a really deep inhale, notice how full your lungs are, but for certain at the very end, you want to do this. And the reason is because this is your evidence that our physical body responds to emotional stress, okay? So right now, if you got it 60% full, let's say we move into some of this disappointment or grief, and all of a sudden you take a deep breath and it's like 30% full. That's like not better, right? It's just because you're thinking about something stressful and your body's working it out. It's actually really exciting to see how that changes, and you have no control over it according to your emotion. Then at the end, when you're feeling hopefully strong, peaceful, joyful, happy, empowered, glass full of clear, crystal, perfect drinking water, right? Because I want you to end there. I want you to tap until you end with a very full, very clear glass of water, even if the circumstances around you didn't change. Then you're going to remember to take your deep inhale breath again. And I want you to notice if you can get your lungs more full at the very end than you did in the beginning. This is a really great practice for those of you who just aren't sure if the emotions do affect you physically, or for those of you who don't really feel into your body very well, who tend to be more in your head. This is a great way to connect your head with your body. Okay, so go ahead and take another deep breath in through your nose, blow it out. By now you're warm, cozy, you've taken a drink of water, and you know where your pause button is. Think about that disappointment that I had you check on. Go ahead, notice if it's the same disappointment that pops up, or maybe if there's something else that you want to work on, and take note of what it is. Some of the things that came up in our group yesterday that inspired this tapping routine are jobs. Some of the women have jobs that they went to school for. They're very passionate about their job. And whether it be COVID or something else, it has caused them to really rethink this career path. They're wanting something different, but they don't know what. Maybe it's not available. Maybe they're restricted in some sense. This was particularly a mom who loves her job. She's a nurse, but COVID has her kids home for school. She really wants to be home with her kids now and just doing the mom life, breakfast, lunch, dinner, helping them with schoolwork, but she also loves her career. So because of circumstances outside her control, which is a lot of what we've been working on lately, now all of a sudden she's not that into her career and she really wants to be home with her kids. Whereas if none of this had ever happened, it wouldn't even be a problem for her to focus on, right? So we had another woman who's stuck at home with her husband who she loves, but she says that it's just too much of him all the time. And it's just very, very frustrating or disappointing for her. Frustration is an important word here. You're not going to need to follow the words that I choose. You're going to follow the words that pop up for you. I'm just here as a guide. We have another woman whose husband has left her, I believe, a couple times, and she's alone with her girls. She's disappointed because she just wanted to be a wife. She wanted to be a mom. She loves the life that they built. And out of the blue came an affair that has her family very split up. This is causing problems for her that she didn't choose. Not just her separation in her marriage with her husband, who she does love and who she does want to work things out with, but he has to want to work things out in order for them to come together as a couple. This is creating problems for their teenage girls, and it's causing some conflict between the girls and the mom, maybe the girls and dad. So there's a lot of disappointment there because one of our topics is life, how we thought it would be, our good and perfect and wonderful dreams as passionate, courageous, empathetic, emotional women, and all of a sudden something outside our control really causes a disappointment. Okay, we had another woman who's overcome victory in her marriage, but she's feeling unsupported right now when it comes to a certain subject. So even if your marriage is super strong, a friendship is super strong, there just might be an element of disappointment and unsupport, okay? Feeling unsupported. Go ahead and think about what that triggered for you, what that brought up for you. The word I'm going to focus on is disappointment, but you don't have to. You can focus on whatever word you want to. Maybe it's frustration. So when I say disappointment, you think frustration. I'll intertwine them also. Go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose. This always works better if you can speak out loud. It just does. Okay, it just does. If you can't speak this out loud because somebody's in the room or somebody's in the next room listening, that's fine. I want you to just listen along, okay? Even though I'm disappointed, and I want you to think about this disappointment, this person, the situation, whatever it is, I am safe. Even though I'm disappointed right here, right now, in this warm space, I am safe. I honor the time that I have made for myself to try something new. And I accept my human feelings that are a response to something that feels like it's outside of my control. So even though I'm really disappointed, something caused a problem for me. And now it makes me feel like I'm the problem. I can't find the right words. I can't find the right solution. But what if I'm not the problem? What if there's just a problem and I'm disappointed? Right here, right now, I accept myself and how I feel. Take a deep breath in through your nose and blow it out through your mouth. Settle into that frustration. If you're having a hard time zooming in on just one frustration, it's okay. Think about them all. Right here on the inside of your eyebrow, take another breath in through your nose, blow it out through your mouth. Think about this frustration outside your eye. Maybe there's a person, something they said, something they did, something outside your control. So disappointed. Wasn't supposed to be this way. Under your eye, under your nose, on your chin. I worked so hard. I tried so hard. It's really hard learning how to adult. It took so much time and energy to work things out the way I wanted them to. And now there's this problem, and it's really in the way. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I'm so disappointed. So disappointed. On your collarbone, take another deep breath in through your nose, blow it out. Really disappointed. And all we're doing is just highlighting that feeling, allowing it to have a voice, allowing it to be seen and heard. If you're wondering about time here, I'm hoping to keep you for about another 20 minutes, but depending on how many times you pause me and how long you stay in the tapping routine, you could get a really good 2-hour tapping session out of this. Take a deep breath, blow it out. The only way this could leave you feeling worse than when you started is if you just quit. If something feels hard, if something feels too big, if you feel like you're not shifting out of it, stop tapping and walk away. That can definitely leave you feeling more frustrated than you came in. It's because we're pulling up a lot of things that you may or may not even be aware of. A lot of things are getting worked out in the background. So even if you end up with a high charge, highly frustrated, a strong visceral response, please keep breathing. Please keep tapping. I promise that's where the miracle is if you just stay with the feeling. Take a deep breath, blow it out. On your bra strap, and on the top of your head again. So disappointed, so disappointed. I'm gonna move on to frustration. If disappointment resonates more for you, I would like to encourage you to hit the pause button, and I would like you to keep tapping and focusing on this disappointment as long as you need to. You might find that the one disappointment resolves itself. Something looks better, feels better, seems better. Maybe you're less sensitive to it. Okay, maybe it feels farther away, and then something else pops up that's disappointing. I want you to really stick with the word disappointment until everything that wants to pop up has popped up. And just like that whack-a-mole game, you're just gonna whack each of them down, tap each of them down until you just have nothing else that's creating that shaky hand, tough breathing, okay? So let's go ahead and move on to this frustration. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Come with me on the side of your hand again. And notice what's frustrating you about the situation. It could be anything. I've worked so hard. I tried so hard. It took too long. It cost too much money. I wanted to be a better mom than my parents were. And now my teenager's acting like a rotten teenager. Just so frustrated. I am so frustrated. And right here, right now, I am safe. Safety is crucial when it comes to the tapping process. Take a deep breath in through your nose, blow it out through your mouth. Even though I am so frustrated, I accept myself and how I feel. If you've never said, I accept myself, it's going to be really hard because our front brain, our conscious brain, thinks because of society that we're saying, I am perfect, everything is well. That's not what we're saying when we say we accept ourselves. Because normally these problems say, I could accept myself if only this thing was different. When I have you declare that you accept yourself completely, we're declaring, I am a human. I wanted something so much better than this. If things were my way, things would be better, and this problem wouldn't even be here. So I'm having a human experience, and I'm having a human feeling and reaction and response to this problem. If I didn't, and if I actually enjoyed the problem or liked the problem and wanted it to continue, then something would actually really be wrong with me. Okay? So what we're doing is saying, I accept that I am conflicted, as a human should be, over something upsetting. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Even though I'm so frustrated, I accept myself completely. Come over here back into your eyebrow. Focus on the problem, the person, the voice, the situation. Remember, 0 to 10 is kind of a scale we use a lot with tapping. 0 being I'm not stressed at all, I have no reaction to that. 10 being super stressed, super anxious, shaky hands, racing heart, constricted breathing. So go ahead and notice the most frustrating thing about what you're tapping about. The most frustrating thing, grow it really, really, really big. Try to notice your number 0 to 10. When you hit numbers like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, you're in a really exciting place. I know it might feel hard, but it's where the work actually gets done. Okay, so if something's really frustrating for you and you feel like you can't go there, it's just too big, that's okay. Say, I just can't go there. It's just too big. It's too much. I've been avoiding it for so long because I'm just so frustrated. It feels like there's nothing I can do about it. It feels like I can't even look at it. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Notice that frustration all over again. Notice how big or small it feels. And what we want to do is we want to bring it to a number that you can handle. So frustrated, so frustrated, so frustrated. This job, this husband, this teenager, this loss of friendship came up yesterday, loss of teenagers, moms who have done everything for their teenagers and their teenager is just leaving the house, acting ungrateful, kind of turning into someone we don't know anymore. Right here on your bra strap, take a deep breath, blow it out. And I want to invite you to hit the pause button again and stay on this frustration as long as you need to. It's so important. That's the exciting thing about doing this video this way, is you kind of get a personal interaction without getting a personal interaction, because I don't know when to move on because I don't know where you're at. So you hit the pause button and you stay on this frustration. You might be surprised how many things come up, but you just work on that emotion, that frustration, pulling it out of your body so that you can look at things and go, yeah, it's frustrating. Okay, but I'm still here and I still have other things to live for and other things that I've done a really great job at and other things that are working out really well. And what if that thing has nothing to do with me? It wasn't my fault. I'm just here to do the best I can with it. What if it's someone else's journey, someone else's problem? And what if I can choose to release that to them and turn my attention to something that deserves my time and energy? Take a deep breath, blow it out. Pause and tap on frustration as long as you need to. The next emotion we're going to move on to is fear. This is where I bring in a little bit of dish soap. So you can pause and stay on frustration, but if fear comes up, you know that's next. Fear is an interesting thing. I have a lot of Jesus followers who work with me, and we don't just believe that fear is a feeling inside of us where something just feels scary or we're afraid of it. We actually believe that that it might be the enemy really trying to steal our joy, that it might be a spirit. Sometimes emotions carry the same energy, the same weight, the same frequency as a spirit. Some people might call it vibes, right? I'm sending you good vibes, right? My spirit is sending you good thoughts. Okay, I'm sending you good energy. These are all interchangeable words depending on your beliefs, but fear is an interesting one. So let's go ahead and look at your situation. Let's look at anything that you're afraid of, and something we've been working on and practicing that has really helped some of my girls and me. Okay, this is one of the biggest things with tapping, is thinking about the worst case scenario. Now, this is going to be something that is very uncomfortable for some of you. I always have the goal in mind for you to be to learn how to trust yourself. If I tell you to think of the worst case scenario and you just don't feel safe to, trust yourself. Okay? Trust yourself. Okay, those of you who have tapped for a while, who know me, who trust me, the worst case scenario thinking is one of the most rapid and effective tools that we could ever use in this work. So if you're ready, we're gonna dive into the worst case scenario together. Then we're gonna add some dish soap. Are you ready? Do you have your worst case scenario? I want you to think about it, because some of these women, the worst case scenario was having to quit their dream job to stay home with their kids, even though they want to be home with their kids. It's still a loss of a job. For another woman, her worst case scenario was that her daughter was going to leave and move out, fall into maybe drug or alcohol addiction, and never return home to her. That's a worst case scenario. Even if you think these things aren't going to happen or aren't possible, they're actually stories that are bouncing around in the back of your brain that you don't realize. And so what we're doing is we're grabbing those worst case scenarios and we're grabbing them and we're saying, hey, you know what? I see you there. And I'm going to practice feeling what you would feel like if you happened, so that no matter what happens, I've already experienced the worst case scenario. Remember, we're oftentimes practicing old feelings and sometimes we're practicing future feelings. So go ahead and notice your worst case scenario. If you don't want to do worst case scenario thinking, you might want to bump forward, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes in this video, okay? Or just use your best judgment and just stay on fear. I'm afraid this will happen. I'm afraid that I'll lose my job, or I'm afraid that I'll have to quit my job, or I'm afraid my teen won't come home. I'm afraid that my husband's gonna stay gone forever. I'm afraid that I'm gonna be a single mom forever. I'm afraid that because my husband didn't support me this time, he's not gonna support me next time. Okay? Worst case scenario. Go as heavy and big and hard with it as you feel safe to. Take a deep breath in through your nose, blow it out, side of your hand. Even though I'm afraid, I accept myself and how I feel. Even if the worst case scenario happens, I accept how I feel about it. Because if I had things my way, none of this would be happening. So if the worst case scenario comes to fruition, even though it's scary, I can rest and have peace knowing I didn't choose this. I want kindness, gentleness, love, peace, self-control, and things outside of my control are causing problems. And it really makes me think about this worst case scenario. My cortisol spikes, my body feels tired or anxious. So when I think about this worst case scenario, this fear, I accept how I feel about something I didn't choose. Something would be wrong with me if I liked it. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and I want you to zoom in as far and as deep and as wide on this worst case scenario as you can, that's safe, and as deep as you need to. Take a deep breath in through your nose, blow it out. I'm gonna tap around with you. Then I'm gonna throw in some dish soap. But remember, if you end up spiked, like a 6, 7, 9, 10, I really want you to hit the pause button, breathe, and tap until you get your number dropped down to a 5 or a 4 or even lower. I trust you to trust yourself to hit the pause button and tap on this worst case scenario. You're gonna wanna write a story. Okay, those of you who really like this idea, I can tell you it shifts things. It's a really incredible tool for now and an incredible tool for later when the worst case scenario does happen, but especially when it doesn't happen. Okay, so I want you to think about the worst case scenario, the picture in your head, the people in your head, the stories in your head, and I really want you to imagine it, because isn't it true that sometimes our fears are actually based on stories we've told that haven't happened yet? Scenarios that we can dream up that haven't really happened yet. Take a deep breath in through your nose, blow it out. Go ahead and think about the worst case scenario. Bra strap, worst case scenario. Top of your head, worst case scenario. Inside your eyebrow, worst case scenario. So afraid, so afraid. Outside of your eye, worst case scenario. So afraid, so afraid. This doesn't work for me. This is unacceptable, unnecessary, completely unacceptable and completely unnecessary. I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. I can't even go there. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's just too much. Take a deep breath in through your nose and blow it out. Because the group that this video is originally for happens to be a large group of Jesus followers, and I say Jesus followers because when I say Christians, sometimes people have an Aunt Kathy or an Aunt Janice who has told them terrible, terrible things about if you do this or you don't do this, then you're going to hell, and it causes people to put other Christians in a box that they don't belong in. Real Jesus followers really, truly want to live and love the way that Jesus did. And the women in this group are good women. Any one of them would be at your side in a heartbeat to help you and support you and encourage you. And one of the things that came up was that a cliche of God won't give you more than you can handle. If God is a trigger word for you, life won't give you more than you can handle. But here's the thing, Scripture never says that. Scripture never says that God won't give us more than we can handle. Scripture says he won't tempt us. He won't allow us, he won't allow us to be tempted more than we can handle. He will always give us a way out of temptation. So if we can release the belief that we're wrong when we can't handle something, it's because we weren't supposed to. So I realized recently with something I was going through that I couldn't handle it anymore. It was too big. It was too much. Even though my body wasn't responding, my heart wasn't really pounding, I didn't have that visceral response. My tapping in the past had really helped me for this moment because this moment was the worst case scenario. And I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it anymore. It was too much. And this little lie showed up of, no, you have to handle it because God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And so you have to handle this. And I kept feeling like I can't. But here's the thing, I learned that I'm not supposed to be able to handle it all. It's okay to not be able to handle it because God can handle it. We have to hand it to him. If we can't handle it, if we just can't handle it anymore, we get to hand it, hand it, hand it. So I want you to validate these real feelings. I just can't handle it anymore. It's too much. It's too big. And I'm too afraid. I just can't. What if that's okay? What if I don't have to? What if right here in this moment, I am here, I am safe, I choose life. I choose to remember things in the past that I've overcome and gotten through. Even if the worst case scenario, then I am here. I am good. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Bra strap. And what I want you to do is I want you to stay on this fear as long as you need to. If it's starting to feel pretty big for some reason, that's good. Something's popping up that's important. So I'm going to invite you to hit the pause button and stay on fear as long as you need to, or add some soap with me. We're going to do something different than we've ever done before, some of us. It's a new point between your pinky and your ring finger, right down here on the back of your hand. You can kind of feel this little divot. I'm going to tap on it. And before you do what I'm going to tell you to do, I want you to watch me do it, okay? And I am going to have you do the full heavy hitter, okay? It's like dish soap and bleach, okay? But I want you to watch me first. I want you to watch me first. I'm going to have you hold your head still, okay? Watch me. And I'm going to ask you to look just with your eyes to your left shoulder. I'm going to have you look just with your eyes to your right shoulder. This is going to be hard for some of you because you're going to want to do this and you want to do this. What I want you to do is look at your left shoulder, which really I should go backwards for you. Okay, and then here, look at your left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder. But here's the important part. I want you to imagine that there's a clock face facing you. If this clock behind me was to be lifted off the wall and placed in front of me, I would have a round clock face right here. So I'm not going to have you just look at your left shoulder and your right shoulder. I'm actually going to have you go from your shoulder around the clock face with your eyes. You're going to be using your peripheral vision, so you might not be able to see what I'm asking you to look at, but you're just going to do your best to keep your eyes around the rim of the clock that you're going to imagine is there. Even though I'm going to tell you to look at your ear, your eyebrow, your forehead, your eyebrow, your ear, your shoulder, I really don't want your eyes doing this. I want your eyes doing this. If you can't do it, it's okay. That's not bad. If it hurts a little bit, if your eyes feel strained, back off a little bit. Don't look so far in your peripheral. Just do what feels okay. All right? And if you can't get a circle, it's fine. Just do the best that you can. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and lead you. And if you want to, you can drop your chin down towards your chest like this, because when you're like this, it can actually help prevent you from turning your head more than you might otherwise. Okay? Ready for this fear thing? Some of you got a high spike. Worst case scenario, this fear, I am safe. Even with this fear, I am safe. Even with this fear in this worst case scenario, I am safe. Take a breath in through your nose. Right here, I am safe. This fear, this person, this place, this thing, this worst case scenario. I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. It's too much. This fear. Okay, remember your point on the back of your hand. Go ahead and drop your chin to your chest. Some of you might not be in this place, but you're just curious about this new technique. Notice any joy or peace or happiness or truth that's popping up for you, because it will, and it does. You have to grab it. It's yours to grab, it's yours to hold on to, and yours to keep, yours to come back to. It's your evidence that you can feel peace and joy in any circumstance. And now what I want you to do is I want you to look towards your right shoulder. Okay. Towards your left shoulder. You can't see me. You're just listening along. Towards your right shoulder. Towards your left shoulder. Take a breath in through your nose. Towards your right shoulder. And then towards your right ear. Remember to try to stay on your peripheral vision, up and around towards your right eyebrow. And then go to the center of your forehead and lift your eyebrows while you try to look towards the ceiling. Remember to hold your head still. Only move your eyes and keep tapping the back of your hand. This is tricky. Go ahead and look at your left eyebrow, towards your left ear, your left shoulder, down towards the middle of your chest, your right shoulder, your right ear, your right eyebrow, up towards the ceiling. Lift your eyebrows, your left eyebrow, your left ear. Think about this worst case scenario. You're looking towards your left ear. Think about this worst case scenario. I just can't, I just can't, I just can't, I just can't, I just can't. It's too much. Look towards your left shoulder, down towards your chest. You're gonna go the opposite direction. Look at your left shoulder, towards your left ear, your left eyebrow, the middle of your forehead. Raise your eyebrows when you get there. Look towards your right eyebrow, right ear, right shoulder, down towards the middle of your chest, left shoulder, left ear, left eyebrow, middle of your forehead, right eyebrow, right ear. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Keep tapping the back of your hand. And this is where the bleach comes in. I want you to hum for 3 seconds. I'm not a singer. I don't have a singer's voice, but I'm going to hum for you. It can be something like this. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Blow it out. Count to 5 out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Think about this fear and hum one more time. Okay, it can sound like whatever you want to. Just hum. We're just activating the 2 different sides of your brain. Take a deep breath. Blow it out. I want you to give yourself a pause. You can pause me if you want to. And what I want you to do while I'm paused is I want you to reset your hands, reset your eyes, reset your shoulders. Go ahead and notice your head. If you have a headache, if you've had a neck ache, any jaw pain, chest pain, stomach pain, any back pain, I want you to really check in with your body and see if anything has shifted, if anything's relaxed. This is another good time to take another deep inhale, try to fill up your lungs. Notice if your lung capacity is stronger or weaker. It doesn't matter. There's no perfect answer. You're just checking in with your body. I really want you to check on that worst case scenario, worst case scenario, worst case scenario. What I'm hoping is that our soap and bleach theory really helped drop your sensitivity, your visceral response, your physical response to this, okay? If it didn't, I want you to come back to the inside of your eyebrow and keep tapping on this fear, so afraid, worst case scenario, can't do it, can't handle it. And I want you to stay here for 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour until that fear goes, boom, gone. I'm safe, I'm anchored. And even if that worst case scenario then dot, 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 because you will get a dot, dot, dot. And then I want you to tell me what is. So you stay on the sphere as long as you need to, and you go ahead and do that eye roll as many times as you need to. If you want to try to do that on your own, or if you want to just rewind it and go back to it, you can do that. It can even be as easy as tapping the back of your hand and going right shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder. Think about that fear and that worst case scenario, back and forth, back and forth. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Okay, this is all stuff you should be able to do from home. All right, so we're gonna move through anger. All right, anger is a heavy one. I'm not gonna stay on it too long because I want this video to be less than an hour for you. So come to the side of your hand if you're ready. Think about what you're angry about in this situation. If you're not angry at all, fast forward. Even though I'm angry at so-and-so or because of so-and-so, I did my best, I worked my hardest, and I feel like the bad guy. Unacceptable. I honor how I feel. I am so angry with so-and-so. I am so angry about the situation, and I am safe to feel this. Breath in through your nose, blow it out. Inside your eyebrow, anger. Outside your eye, this anger. Under your eye, this anger. Under your nose, it's unacceptable. It's unnecessary. I don't deserve it. This isn't what I asked for. This isn't what I had in mind. I wanted something better. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Top of your head, take a deep breath, blow it out. So angry, so angry. And if anger is a big one for you, I want you to stay on this as long as you need to. Hit the pause button, check on your number, tap and breathe through the anger, the people who show up, the places, the feelings. Okay, I chose my husband, we chose our careers, and now we're stuck at home. I chose to be a good mom to this teenager, and she told me I'm the bad guy. Unacceptable. Okay, my husband and I worked so hard and he's not supporting me. It makes me so angry that we came this far and I'm unsupported, so angry. Deep breath, blow it out, pause me, stay on anger until something shifts. Take a deep breath, blow it out. The next feeling is sadness that we're gonna move over towards, just so you know if you wanna pause it or if you wanna keep going. Take a deep breath, blow it out. We have sadness that oftentimes shows up under anger. It's a much more gentle feeling. It's also a heavier feeling sometimes. If you have joy or happiness or peace or patience or anything good and beautiful popping up, hold on to it and tap it in. This is where a lot of my girls started getting physical, visceral rushes of peace and comfort and joy and truth and support, just knowing that they're not alone. Okay, the stories are all different, but our feelings are the same. Top of your head, notice the sadness. What is it that makes you so sad about the situation? Come to the side of your hand, take a deep breath, blow it out. This sadness, so sad. I accept my human response. Something would be wrong with me if this sad thing made me laugh. Something would be wrong with me if this sad thing made me happy. Something would be wrong with me if this sad thing didn't feel sad. So I'm gonna notice what's right with me, that I am a human, I have human feelings, and something sad feels sad. I'm gonna choose to feel it, to honor it, to notice it, to look at it, to give it my time and my attention. Because something sad is sad. Take a deep breath, blow it out. I am safe to feel it inside your eyebrow, this sadness. Grief comes up for a lot of people here. Grab whatever word you need to. Outside your eye, this sadness, this grief. I'm so sad I don't even know how to grieve. Under your eye, this sadness and this grief. So sad. This loss. Almost every disappointment, every frustration, even new exciting opportunities, they all come attached with loss. We can be so excited about a move and so devastated and sad to lose our hometown. We can be so excited about a job transfer and so sad to lose our old position. We can be so excited to stay home with our kids and so sad to leave the job we worked for. We can be so excited about what God's doing in our life, helping us be independent and single when our husband has failed us and abandoned us. Oh, and there is so much loss and so much sadness because this is not how it was supposed to be. So take a deep breath, blow it out. We can be so proud that we saw our kids off to college, that we taught our kids how to live on their own, and we can be so sad when it happens. It's okay to hold two feelings at the same time. Notice the sadness, the sadness, the sadness. Take a deep breath, blow it out. If you're at a 6 to 10 in your sadness, let's go back to this eye roll one more time. Back of your hand. Look towards your right shoulder. Notice the sadness and what makes you so sad about it. If you're crying and you need to cry, I'd like you to pause this, grab a Kleenex, take a deep breath in through your nose, blow it out, drink some water, tap on your sadness, and come back to me when you're ready. Sadness is an important place. It's the first emotion I ever tapped on. It taught me that this works, and it caused me to quit my job and get certified so I could help you with your sadness, because I was so sad. I thought the feeling was going to last the rest of my life. And right now I'm thinking about that original memory that made me so sad. It's still a sad thing, but it does not take over my mind and my body when I think about it. I'm here and I'm present, and there's so much goodness still, even that came from it. This sadness, right shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder, left ear, left eyebrow, middle of your forehead, raise your eyebrows. Look at your right eyebrow, right ear, right shoulder, towards your belly button, towards your left shoulder, towards your left ear, your left eyebrow. Rolling around, take a deep breath. Think of this sadness up in the middle of your forehead. Notice what you notice. Notice how it shifts. If you need to cry, stop rolling your eyes and just close them and cry. It's what your body's been craving this whole time, is just some tears, just some alone time to cry, to grieve this loss. Right shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder. Deep breath in through your nose, blow it out. Go all the way back to that original eye roll. If you need to, rewind a couple times. I wish I could tell you what minute that was on, but I don't know. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Inside your eyebrow, and I want you to stay on the sadness. Go ahead and pause me, stay on the sadness as long as you need to, because I am gonna close you up. So if you still have a sadness between a 6 and a 10, I want you to tap and breathe, and tap and breathe, and tap and breathe, and tap and breathe. Lots of loss and lots of grief. Lots of loss and lots of grief, and stay there as long as you need to until something shifts. I promise something always shifts. I promise, I promise, I promise. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Collarbone. Stay here as long as you need to. Something will shift. And then I'm going to get ready to close you up. So go ahead and pause me if you want to stay on sadness. I just want to let you know that as you move through this, a lot of the mud and yuck is being chipped away. But we've worked on a lot of really incredible emotions today. And so let's say you had 10 different problems pop up, okay? And let's call them onions. You have 10 different onions. Every one of those onions has layers in it. Okay, and every single one of those onions has layers of anger, layers of sadness, layers of disappointment, layers of grief, but they also have layers of happiness and joy and peace and answers and provision and motivation, okay, and perseverance. So when we're focusing on the frustration on one isolated problem or onion, we're actually clearing out some of the frustration from all 10 problems or onions. That's why this tool is so rapid and so gentle, is you're working on so many different things that you're not even thinking about. But here's the thing. After your subconscious is quiet and calm and trusts you with the work, what it might do is start to bring up some other pieces, some puzzle pieces, some memories, some people, some things that feel really, really old. Don't discount it if it's from when you were 3 or 4 or 5 years old. Those are the most important puzzle pieces, okay? What I want you to do is start the video all over again and go through this routine again from the top all the way back down to sadness, because it's going to help you. You're going to keep going through these onion layers of all these different stories and all of these different problems, but you're not just moving through past stuff. You're actually moving forward into future stuff too. Take a deep breath, blow it out. And I want you to close your eyes. As long as your number is low, your number has dropped. If your number hasn't dropped and if it's not lower, you've got to pause and keep tapping. But if you're feeling like you're in a good, calm, safe place, some perks that might have come up are that now you want to be a stay-at-home mom, whereas you always thought your job was a little bit more fun and an easy escape. It's a really exciting thing to find out you want to stay home with your kids. Even though maybe your teenagers are giving you a hard time, you raised them, you did your best, and now you have to trust the process that they're on their own journey. Check in with all the things that you did right and good and better than your own parents. Ask yourself if you should have treated your kids the way your parents treated you. Give yourself a little credit for doing better. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Notice something that your husband does support you with, or your friend does support you with. Practice being grateful for that one thing, grow it real big, anchor into that. Go back and check on your worst case scenario. Some really positive, healthy emotions should follow when you think about your worst case scenario and realize it might not be happening right now. Okay. Notice the person you're stuck at home with, anything positive that you do love about them. This is where some joy might come in, some gratitude, appreciation, things that I don't know are going to fall upon you because they just fall upon you. This is the clear water filling the cup. Okay, take a deep breath, blow it out. And if you originally took that nice deep inhale breath and noticed that your lungs could only get 70% full or 80% full, this is another good chance to go ahead and take that really, 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 really deep, 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 deep breath and see if you can get more breath in your lungs this time, because that's your evidence that you sorted through so many different emotions and your physical body is actually more relaxed and it's responding, and you emptied it out of so much mud and so much yuck. I want you to go through the rest of your day drinking water, noticing your responses and your reactions to things that would have normally frustrated you or disappointed you. Notice how you feel different in your body and in your thought process. If you do get triggered today, I want you to stop, take a deep breath, blow it out, press and hold right here, stop, take a deep breath, blow it out, press and hold right here 3 times, and allow that feeling to pass. Keep the blood in your brain. If you don't act fast enough, you're going to lose the blood, you're going to lose your thinking, and you're going to get frustrated. So take a deep breath, blow it out. And right now your cortisol has dropped maybe up to 80%. This is a good place for you to take some quiet time, some rest, journal, read a book, do something you've been really wanting to do that's peaceful, restful, drink some tea, hot soup, sit in a bath. This is a great place for your subconscious to be. It's very rarely in this deep, restful, meditative space, especially after thinking about stress. And I want you to let me know if this helped you at all. I want you to let me know what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. I want to know how you journeyed through it. I want to know what kind of things popped up, maybe things that you want to come back to another time. And if you notice some of these things come up in the future, you're going to feel a lot better about it moving forward. Let me know if you have any questions. Oh, oftentimes women say, I'm just so tired. I'm so tired now. I feel so fatigued. We're used to feeling tired and fatigued. I want you to ask yourself if this might be what it feels like to be relaxed. Your cortisol has dropped. This might be what it feels like to be relaxed. Take a deep breath, blow it out, tap. What if I'm relaxed? What if there's stress in my life? What if there's problems in my life? But what if I am here? I am good, I am kind, I am gentle, and if it was up to me, everything would be perfect. Take a deep breath, blow it out. What if this is relaxed? And I want you to feed that relaxation. Take a deep breath, blow it out. And have a beautiful rest of your day.